Hi, I'm William. Today I'm going to tell you my story, but before I continue, please like, share, and subscribe to hear more stories like this. You know what they say about family always being there for you? Well, sometimes they're there all right, just waiting to take what's yours. Let me take you back to where it all started. Dad, I got the job at Miller's Hardware after school, I said, sliding my acceptance letter across the kitchen table. My father barely looked up from his phone. Good. About time you started contributing around here. I'm 16, Dad. And I was working 2 jobs at 14. Mom walked in, coffee mug in hand. William, make sure it doesn't affect your grades. We're not paying for college if you don't get scholarships. Wait, you're not helping with college at all? I asked, stunned. Dad finally put his phone down. Look, son, the world doesn't hand you anything. You want something? You earn it. Consider it a life lesson. Some lesson, I muttered. What was that? Dad's voice sharpened. Nothing. I'll make it work. That conversation set the tone for my high school years. While my friends enjoyed football games and parties, I was stocking shelves, delivering pizzas, and spending weekends mowing lawns. By senior year, I was working 3 jobs. My best friend Sam couldn't believe it. Dude, how are you even surviving? He asked one night as I dozed off during our study session. Coffee. Lots of coffee, I replied, forcing my eyes open. And knowing I need every dollar for college. Your parents are seriously not helping at all? My dad's already set up a college fund for me. I shrugged. They say it builds character. It builds exhaustion is what it does. You know you can crash at my place anytime, right? Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Despite the exhaustion, I graduated with honors and got accepted to State University with a partial scholarship. Not enough to cover everything, but a start. The night before leaving for college, I overheard my parents talking in the kitchen. Think he'll actually make it through? Mom asked. Dad laughed. Doubtful. He'll be back within a semester begging for help. Should we offer something just to get him started? Absolutely not. He needs to learn self-reliance. Besides, we've got our own retirement to think about. I quietly backed away from the door, something hardening inside me. That night, I made a promise to myself. I would never ask them for a cent, and I would prove them wrong. College was brutal. I took morning classes, worked at the campus bookstore between courses, waited tables at night, and did weekend shifts at a warehouse. Sleep became a luxury. My roommate thought I was insane. William, you're going to collapse, he warned. No choice, I replied, gulping down my third energy drink of the day. During sophomore year, I met Jennifer at the restaurant where I worked. She was a customer who kept coming back, always sitting in my section. You look dead on your feet, she said one night after I'd spilled water for the second time. Long day, 3 exams and an 8-hour shift, she frowned. Do you ever sleep? That's what summer's for, I joked. She didn't laugh. Seriously, what's driving you this hard? Something about her genuine concern made me open up. We stayed talking until closing time. My parents basically told me I'm on my own, I explained. They're waiting for me to fail so they can say, I told you so. Jennifer looked outraged. That's terrible. Parents are supposed to support their kids. Not mine. Everything's a character-building exercise. Well, their loss, she said firmly, because from what I can see, you're going to be someone amazing. That was the beginning of something special. Jennifer became my rock, my cheerleader when exhaustion made me want to quit. Fast forward to graduation day. I'd done it. Bachelor's in business management with honors and 0 debt. I'd saved every penny, lived on ramen and discount groceries, and somehow made it through. My parents showed up, looking almost disappointed that I'd succeeded. Congratulations, Mom said stiffly, as if the word pained her. Dad nodded. Didn't think you'd stick it out. What's your plan now? I've accepted a management position at Brockton Corp. Starting salary is pretty good. Management? Dad raised an eyebrow. Bit ambitious for entry level, isn't it? They were impressed with my work ethic and experience, I replied, keeping my voice level. Well, don't get too comfortable, he warned. First jobs rarely last. Jennifer, who was standing beside me, squeezed my hand hard. I could feel her anger on my behalf. Actually, I said, I've already put a down payment on a house. That got their attention. A house? Mom looked stunned. How can you afford a house? I've been saving since I was 16, remember? Plus, I got a great deal on a foreclosure. Needs some work, but it's mine. Dad's expression changed subtly. Smart investment. Property always appreciates. Where is it? I hesitated, suddenly wary of their interest. East side of town. Nice neighborhood. Later, Jennifer voiced what I was thinking. Did you see how they perked up when you mentioned the house? Yeah, first time they've ever looked impressed. Or calculating, she murmured. Be careful, Will. They didn't support you all these years. Why the sudden interest now? I should have listened more carefully. 6 months later, I was settled into my job and spending weekends fixing up the house. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. Every nail I hammered, every wall I painted represented years of sacrifice. One Sunday, my parents showed up unannounced. Just thought we'd see this place you're so proud of, Dad said, walking in like he owned it. They toured every room, Mom commenting on what should be changed, Dad inspecting the foundation and roof. Not bad, he finally admitted. Needs work, but solid bones. What did you pay again? I told him, uncomfortable with the question. Highway robbery, he scoffed. We could have helped you negotiate better. I did fine, I replied tersely. You know, Mom said, sitting down at my kitchen table uninvited. Your father and I have been thinking. We're getting older and this house has plenty of room. What are you saying? Dad cleared his throat. We're considering downsizing. Our house is too big for just us now. We thought maybe we could move in here, help with the mortgage. I stared at them. There is no mortgage, I paid cash. They exchanged glances. Even better, Dad said smoothly. We could contribute to utilities, maybe do some renovations, make this a real family home. No thanks, I said firmly. I like my space. Mom's expression hardened. William, after everything we've done for you, done for me? I couldn't help laughing. What exactly have you done? I've been supporting myself since I was 16. We put a roof over your head, Dad snapped. Fed you, clothed you. That's what parents do. The bare minimum, yeah. And now you want to move into the house I bought with money I earned working 3 jobs while going to school full-time? We're your parents, Mom said, as if that explained everything. Family supports family. That's rich coming from you two. The conversation ended badly. They left angry, and I was shaken. The next day, my sister Rachel called. Mom and Dad are furious. What did you do? They wanted to move into my house. I said no. So? They're getting older, Will. They need support. They're both healthy and working, and they never supported me. Rachel sighed. They raised us. They did the legal minimum for me and made it clear I was on my own otherwise. Now suddenly they want to claim what I've built? No way. 2 weeks later, I came home to find my parents' car in my driveway again. Walking in, I froze at the sight of them showing my house to an older couple I didn't recognize. This would be your bedroom, Mom was saying, leading them through my home. What the hell is going on? I shouted. The couple looked startled. Dad stepped forward smoothly. William, these are the Johnsons, potential buyers. Buyers? This is my house. Actually, Mom said with a thin smile, we've been consulting with our attorney. Since you were a minor when you started earning the money that eventually paid for this house and living under our roof, we have a claim to parental ownership of those assets. I felt like I'd been punched. You've got to be kidding me. The Johnsons looked uncomfortable. We should go, the man muttered, and they quickly left. Are you insane? I demanded once they were gone. You have zero claim to this house. Dad pulled out some papers. Our lawyer thinks differently. We supported you, provided the stability that allowed you to work and save. That creates an implied contract. Get out, I hissed. Get out now before I call the police and report you for trespassing. You'd call the police on your own parents? Mom looked shocked. Watch me. They left, but not before Dad said, you'll be hearing from our lawyer. I immediately called Jennifer, who came right over with takeout and a bottle of wine. They can't actually take your house, she reassured me. That's not how the law works. I don't know. They seem pretty confident. Then we get you a better lawyer, she said firmly. The next day, I called my Uncle Dave, Dad's brother, who hadn't spoken to him in years. William, good to hear from you. How's life treating you? Not great, Uncle Dave. My parents are trying to claim ownership of my house. There was a pause. Why am I not surprised? Your father pulled similar stunts with our parents' estate. What should I do? Fight and document everything. Your father's good at manipulating situations to his advantage. On his recommendation, I contacted a lawyer specializing in property disputes. She listened to my story, shaking her head. Their claim is baseless, she assured me. But nuisance lawsuits can be costly and stressful. Let's be proactive. She helped me gather all my financial records. Every paycheck, every bank statement from age 16 onward, my house purchase documents, everything. Meanwhile, my parents were spreading their version of events through the family. Ungrateful son. denying aging parents a place to live after all they'd sacrificed. My sister called again. Mom's crying every day, Will. How could you do this to them? Rachel, they're trying to steal my house, a house they didn't contribute a cent toward. They say they made it possible for you to earn that money. By doing what exactly? Telling me I was on my own, working me like a dog while my friends had normal teenage lives? You always were the difficult one, she muttered. That hurt, but I stood my ground. My lawyer sent a cease and desist letter. In response, my parents actually filed a lawsuit claiming parental investment in my assets. The next family gathering was my cousin's wedding. I hadn't planned to attend, but Jennifer convinced me. Don't let them isolate you from everyone, she argued. That plays into their hands. Walking into that reception was like entering hostile territory. Family members I'd known my whole life suddenly looked at me with suspicion or outright hostility. Uncle Dave found me at the bar. Holding up okay? Barely. Everyone hates me. They believe what they're told, he said grimly. Your father's always been persuasive. William! My father's booming voice carried across the room. He approached, all smiles for the crowd watching. Son, we need to talk privately. Against my better judgment, I followed him to a quiet corner. This has gone far enough, he said, dropping the smile. Drop this stubborn attitude and we can work something out. There's nothing to work out. It's my house. Your mother is heartbroken. Is that what you want? Don't put this on me. You're the ones trying to steal what I worked for. His face darkened. After everything we've given you. Given me? I laughed bitterly. Name one thing you've given me that wasn't legally required. He couldn't answer. That's what I thought. As I turned to leave, he grabbed my arm. You'll regret this, William. When this gets ugly, and it will, remember you chose this path. I jerked away. No, you chose this path. 20 years ago when you decided your son was nothing but free labor and a retirement plan. The court date was set for 3 months later. During that time, my parents escalated their campaign. They contacted my employer claiming I had psychiatric issues and was unstable. They showed up at my house repeatedly, once even bringing a locksmith to change my locks. Thankfully, my neighbors called the police that time. My lawyer was documenting everything. They're digging their own grave, she assured me. The day before court, Rachel showed up at my door looking uncomfortable. Can we talk? I let her in warily. What is it? She sat down, fidgeting. I found something you should see. She pulled out an envelope. Dad's financial records for the past 5 years. They're not nearly as broke as they claim. I looked through the papers, stunned. They've been on luxury cruises, bought a timeshare, while telling me they couldn't help with college. Rachel looked ashamed. There's more. They've been planning to sell their house and move to Florida. The money from your house was supposed to fund their condo there. How did you get these? Mom asked me to make copies for their accountant. I made extras. She hesitated. I'm sorry, Will. I didn't want to believe they'd do this to you. In court, my parents' case collapsed spectacularly. Their lawyer tried arguing parental investment, but my meticulous records showed I'd supported myself entirely. When my lawyer presented their luxury expenses and Florida retirement plans, the judge was visibly disgusted. Not only is the plaintiff's claim without merit, he said, but the court finds evidence of deliberate deception and harassment. The defendant is granted a restraining order against the plaintiffs, who are ordered to pay all legal costs. My parents' faces as they realized they'd lost everything, the case, their reputation, and their son, should have felt satisfying. Instead, I just felt tired. Outside the courthouse, my mother tried approaching me. William, please, we can still be a family. No, I said quietly. We can't. My father started to speak, but Uncle Dave stepped between us. You've done enough damage, Thomas. Leave the boy alone. That was 3 years ago. I haven't spoken to my parents since. I heard through Rachel that they had to sell their house at a loss to cover debts, and the Florida dream evaporated. Dad's reputation in the business community suffered when the story got out, and he was passed over for a promotion he'd been counting on. Meanwhile, I got married to Jennifer last year. We're expecting our first child in a few months. I've been promoted twice at work, and we've renovated the house into something truly beautiful. Rachel visits often. She's rebuilding our relationship and excited to be an aunt. Uncle Dave has become a mentor to me both in business and life. Sometimes I wonder if I should feel guilty for cutting my parents off completely. But then I remember all those nights working until 2 a.m. while trying to study, the graduation where they could barely pretend to be proud, and their calculated attempt to take everything I'd built, Family isn't just blood. It's the people who support you, believe in you, and celebrate your victories rather than trying to claim them as their own. I've built my real family now, and our child will never know what it's like to face the world alone at 16. So here's my question for you. If someone tried to take credit for your hard work and success, even family, would you forgive them? Or would you, like me, decide that some bridges are better left burned?